Hello, and welcome to the podcast. Today, let us turn to rich and varied Irish mythology. There are so many legends and tales in the folklore of this land, a whole world of magical beings who dwell alongside humans. They may be close to us, and at the same, belong to the other world. Let's start the journey with a story about the Leprechaun. The Leprechaun is undoubtedly the most famous character in Irish folklore. He looks like a short, stocky man, dressed in a doublet or a jacket with breeches, buckled shoes, and a hat in Victorian style. Until recent, leprechauns dressed in red, but nowadays they have changed their taste and appear only in green. Leprechauns do an important and honorable job in fairyland. They are shoemakers. They make shoes for other magical creatures. Fairies and pixies love to dance the night away under the moonlight. No wonder that they need good shoes. Leprechauns make shoes and boots for them. No one has ever caught a leprechaun at work. They are usually seen with only one left shoe. These creatures also know a lot about good drinks, but no matter how much ale the leprechaun drinks, he remains watchful when it comes to his gold. Every leprechaun has his own pot of gold coins hidden in a safe place. Where did this gold come from? There are several different versions. Maybe this is the payment for making shoes that the leprechaun receives from the fairies. Perhaps the duties of little people include protecting ancient treasures. Or maybe the rumors are true that, at night, leprechauns sneak into humans' houses and pinch off a small piece from each coin. One end of the rainbow in the sky points at the place where the pot of gold is buried, but it is not easy to reach it. Only the magic shoemaker himself knows the exact location. Therefore, humans have always tried to catch leprechauns and lure the treasure out of them. Legend has it that if you catch a leprechaun, he will grant you 3 wishes or show you where his gold is hidden. Of course, leprechauns try not to get caught by humans. They know how to avert the eyes, become invisible, disappear, and instantly appear behind their back. Like many other fairies, they are initially quite peaceful and friendly creatures. But if you offend them, try to catch them, or show disrespect, small folk will turn into vengeful magical monsters. Even if you catch a leprechaun and force him to fulfill wishes, the cunning man will try to deceive you. He will fulfill the wish literally, or will find a loophole in the agreement. In one story, a farmer caught a leprechaun and demanded to be taken to the meth where his gold was buried. The leprechaun obeyed. However, when the farmer ordered him to dig the pot, the leprechaun moaned that he had no shovel and begged to let him go. The farmer decided that he no longer needed the leprechaun, since he had already showed the location of the treasure. The leprechaun took a stick, stuck it in the ground, and then threw his hat on the stick. The satisfied farmer let the little man go, and the next morning he came into the forest with a shovel to dig up the gold. Imagine his surprise when he saw that the entire lawn was full of sticks and hats. It would take forever to find the gold. The leprechaun is now closely related to St. Patrick's Day, a festival celebrated in March. In many countries, St. Patrick's Day has become a celebration of all things Irish. The tradition of the carnival on this day is relatively new. It arose in the 1970s. Before this, the holiday was considered exclusively religious in Ireland. But times have changed, and now St. Patrick's Day is more of a festival with rivers of beer and people in Irish costumes and green faces walking the streets. And the symbol of the holiday is not the ancient bishop in Ireland, but a cheerful leprechaun. Another symbol of St. Patrick, and also a leprechaun, is the 4-leaf clover. Clover usually has 3 leaves. According to legend, St. Patrick used a clover to explain the concept of the Holy Trinity. Just as 3 leaves can grow from one stem, so God can be one in 3 persons. Over time, clover has become a symbol of Irish independence. But the leprechaun has a four-leaf clover. Such a plant is very rare, and finding it is great luck. This is why leprechauns attach such leaves to their jackets as a good luck charm. In the modern world, the leprechaun has become an element of mass culture, moving far away from its mythological prototype. Yet some argue that the popular image of the leprechaun is no more than a series of stereotypes, based on derogatory anti-Irish 19th century caricatures. The leprechaun has appeared countless times in popular culture. He featured in logos and names of Irish and Celtic companies, rock bands, and brands. Leprechaun is a mascot of cereals and sports teams. In the magical world of Harry Potter created by J.K. Rowling, leprechauns make a brief appearance during the Quidditch World Cup in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. In the book, leprechauns are described as small mischievous creatures that live in Ireland. They are known for their prankster nature and their ability to produce gold coins out of thin air. During the Quidditch World Cup, the leprechauns perform a display where they shoot out a shower of gold coins as a cheer for the Irish team playing against Bulgaria. The gold coins themselves vanish after a few hours, much to the delight of the fans. The depiction of leprechauns in Harry Potter aligns with traditional folklore about these legendary creatures. But let us remember the dark side of this fairy creature. The 1993 American horror slasher film Leprechaun and its sequels feature a killer leprechaun portrayed by Warwick Davis. The main character in the franchise is a malevolent leprechaun who is depicted as a cunning and vengeful creature with a penchant for mischief and mayhem. The franchise blends elements of horror, comedy, and fantasy, creating a unique and sometimes campy take on the mythological figure of the leprechaun. The first movie in the series, simply titled Leprechaun, follows the story of a group of people who accidentally release the leprechaun from his captivity and must outsmart him to survive. Over the years, several sequels followed, each featuring the leprechaun wreaking havoc in various settings and scenarios. While the Leprechaun franchise may not have achieved critical acclaim, it has become a beloved series within the horror genre. So this adds a new light to the famous and well-known image of the leprechaun. However, in most cases, the leprechaun is portrayed as a cheerful and peaceful mystical being. He has come a long way from a shoemaker to a mascot for popular festivals and brands. Those tiny bearded men have become closely associated with Irish culture. Leprechaun images are used extensively in decorations, cards, and decorations. Leprechauns are traditionally associated with pots of gold hidden at the end of a rainbow, and thus they have become a popular symbol of luck and wealth. Leprechauns, with their distinctive appearance and association with prosperity, have been used as mascots and in advertising and commercial art. Leprechauns are common characters or symbols in many video games. This is especially true in games with fantasy settings, where they often appear as creatures possessing magical abilities. Their prevalence in popular culture has, in turn, led to the amplification of their popularity and recognizability around the world. What do you think of leprechauns? Write it in the comments. Thank you for listening. See you soon.